Beloop, 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 boop, beloop, boop, 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 beloop, boop, beloop, boop, 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 beloop, boop, 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 beloop, boop, beloop, do, do, do. Whir, 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 whir. Beloop, doop, boop, boo. Beloop, doo, doo, doo. Beloop, diddle, diddle, diddle. Burp, 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 burp. Oh man, we've started? We've begun the show. Oh, I was just over here making weird noises. We're receiving your content, but it's not playing. Your audience will see it in a moment. Get ready. Why's it keep saying to get ready? We're already live on the internet. Boo-doo-doo-boo. We got one viewer. What's up, everybody? Thing says one viewer, so that means we're doing pretty good. If we're up from 0 to 1, well, that's a good Wednesday, right? Right, everybody. Good to see everybody. Thanks for coming out today. It's a lovely snowing Wednesday out here in lovely Western Washington of the United States, and my phone is immediately going off. Why is my phone going off? I don't know.
Who is she?
Who is it? Hey, hey, man.
What?
Well, our
I'm
secret
right here.
guest has exposed herself.
Oh, sorry.
We didn't know that there's a secret guest here today, but she started talking.
I don't know what, I can't see what's going on, so.
Talking to the microphone.
Hello.
There you go. Uh-oh. We've got sound on over here. There we go. Okay. Well, it's a lovely Wednesday where it's snowing outside, even though they said, don't worry, it's not going to snow. And it's snowing. So, not a big deal. Not the worst deal in the world, but glad to be able to be here on a lovely snowy Wednesday. Creedmoor Aquatics is throwing down his arrows. Her arrows. I don't know. I don't know if Creedmoor is a male or a female. I don't know. But throwing down arrows. It's arrow time. You get access to the arrows and stuff like that if you are if you hit the join button. If you become a member and join, and you know what I mean. Like, if you join and become a member, the next thing you know, you're in the members only club, and then you get to do member stuff. Just like people on the Patreon. You know, it's a bunch of people on the Patreon patronizing. Mad props to you guys. I'm still figuring out the software to be able to do Patreon-only shows. And those will only come up on the Patreon page out there, so you know how it is. You know how it is, guys. We change with the times, and the times they are changing, and every once in a while I'm going to be doing some members-only stuff. Because that's how it goes. But it is Wednesday, and we do have a lovely guest here, so let me switch so that we can see what she's doing. I got to go over here. Oh, yeah! Oh, I should have zoomed the camera in or something. Hold on.
Am I far away? Far? Near.
Yeah. All right. The input on that camera is not as good. It's an old leftover. It's an old leftover camera, so we can't exactly like zoom in or anything. I wonder if I can zoom in from over here. Let's see. We'll test. Where's that? Rotate. No, we don't want to rotate. Layout. We gotta do it from here. Well, there we go. Now you're in frame. There, that's better. The lovely Vicky Toria is here with us today. As you can see, she has a label under there. and you can see her because she's actually here in the room, and she wants to see the monitor of. What do you want to see what you're doing? You're playing on your phone.
I'm not playing on my phone.
She's playing on her phone, guys.
This is work.
Well, don't show your work on...
Wait. You can't see anything.
All right.
It's not... I'm sending an email.
Okay. But the lovely Vicky Torre is here for a little while, mainly because we're going to talk a little bit about her newest addition, the bamboo shrimp. Why she likes the bamboo shrimp, what's the bamboo shrimps all about, what's the deal with bamboo shrimp.
Bamboozles.
Why does she even like bamboo shrimp? You guys can see some of the video in the background there. It's not that great because it's not really edited or anything. And it's just giving you some idea of, like, some of the bamboo shrimp. Like, where they're at, what they're doing, and what their thing is all about. So, you know, is it the finest background video you've ever seen? Probably not. But it's what we got. It's what we got for today. I have to remember to... make this thing, when it's finished, rewind, and then make it just go forever. There we go. Keep an eye on those bamboo shrimp in the background. You guys can let me know if you see anything weird going on with them bamboo shrimp back there, but it should be fine. Shouldn't be a problem. Your phone's making weird rocket noises.
It is. It does that.
But we do have Vicky here today. We're wondering... We have some questions for Vicky, and we'll see what they got. What they got going on. What they got going on in the chat here.
I haven't even seen our bamboozle shrimp yet.
Candy says hello. Mellow Moogle says hello.
Hello, hello,
Yeah.
hello. Moogs, Candy.
The Fish Keeper says, and the third guest is the baby. Oh no, Olivia is
Napping with the babysitter. They are both out cold in the recliner.
the babysitter and Olivia are napping. Pull that mic in close to your face. There you go.
Sorry.
Speak into the microphone.
Hello. Hello.
It's like, it's a microphone. You have to talk into it.
I don't know how. It's been a while. I don't know how close to the mic I need to be.
Okay.
I don't want a hot mic.
All right. And then if you're trying to look at the people, you have to look at that thing. Not me.
But okay. Don't look at the person you're talking to. Look at the camera.
Yeah, you have to look at the camera.
Got it.
You know how it is.
I didn't bring the right phone in either because I can't see the feed either.
Well, don't worry. I'll edit the feed over here. Mellow Moogle says they're all about that wood. Right? And then bamboo shrimp, they're all about that wood. Yeah. That's kind of their deal. That's what they like to do. They like to cling up on there and what are they? Adiopsis moscalensis. I believe I'm saying that sort of correctly. Let's call it 90% correctly. The Adiopsis shrimp, great, cool shrimp for sure, 100%. I definitely dig them. They're kind of an interesting shrimp because they have these big fans on their hands, right? And that's how they collect their food.
Jazz hands.
They do jazz hands and spirit fingers all day long.
All day.
It's kind of their thing. One of those things that you'll regularly see if you go ahead and look up these shrimp and kind of find stuff about them is that one of the signs that they're not doing well, or maybe the environment that they're in isn't accurate for them, is that they're crawling around on the ground. Now, as a blanket statement, yes, that is kind of correct. But I do want to remind people that it is a little bit of a knee-jerk reaction if you do see them crawling around on the ground looking for stuff. They could just literally be looking for stuff. Sometimes, them just sticking in the same spot is not the best thing. And when it comes down to them molting, when they go ahead and shed their exoskeleton, a lot of times you'll see from the other bamboo shrimp is that they'll head down and find that exoskeleton and the little bits of the exoskeleton that's laying down in the substrate. They'll go down and get that. So sometimes if you do see them down in the substrate, it is kind of a normal thing for them. It's not necessarily 100% indicator that something's wrong with their environment. But that's probably the most common question I get about the Adiopsis shrimp. Yes, they do want to be perched up on something, regularly feeding, but if they're all just down on the substrate all the time, that is going to be a problem. But if you see them down there occasionally cruising around, that's pretty normal from time to time. But, if they're doing it all the time, that's going to be a problem. But I would remind anybody out there, if you do get some bamboo shrimp and you see them, cruising around down on the substrate, it's not complete freak out time. It's just if they're regularly doing that. Leslie's Fish Room says they look like big spiders.
What? I don't think they look like spiders.
They don't look like big spiders?
The bamboo shrimp? Well, I mean, they look like bugs, yes.
Yeah, they have a bug thing about them, right?
It wasn't. Lobsters are classified as a bug, are they not? Isn't that correct?
Man, I can't remember.
Is it lobsters or shrimp?
I think lobsters are their own classification, I think.
Maybe it's shrimp then.
Shrimps?
Is somebody sniffing at the office door?
Somebody's out there sniffing at the door. I don't know. I can't imagine who is doing that. Got a $2 super chat from Nebraska SXHC. I should probably just start coming up with an acronym for that. I hear your phone alarm going off right now, wherever your other phone is. I can hear it.
That's the time to pump or feed the baby alarm.
It's the mom stuff alarm. So she's got to go turn off that phone alarm. I can hear it. I can hear it still going. But she'll go find her other phone and pull up the chat and turn off her alarm. The reason why that's funny is because she was giving me a hard time earlier because my alarm was going off. And, that's just life sometimes. Let's see. Mellow Moogle's emphasizing the jazz hands. Bamboo shrimp sump. Is that a thing? From Reese. Well, I don't have any bamboo shrimp in the sump. You could definitely set up a good space in a sump for some bamboo shrimp if you had some elevated spaces for them to kind of perch up down there and do their feeding and stuff like that. It probably would be a reasonable environmental space for them to be in because there is a constant flow, which is nice for them. I'm sure the temperature and the water quality should be the same as the tank. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily a bad thing, but I would go into it thinking like, okay, I need to set up this sump as an environment for the shrimp, which might impede, how you set up the sump, I think would be a problem. I think I might just mess with that a little bit, but, I think you could definitely do it. I think it's doable, especially if you had like a big enough sump. Terry's Tropicals tank is casually late again. Which is fine. That's life. Sometimes we show up late. I'm not really seeing any questions. John Gonzalez says, I have 2 bamboo shrimp and I never see them. That few bamboo shrimp, chances are they're probably hiding somewhere. To give you an idea, so the amount of shrimp that we added to this aquarium right here, so we initially added 35. We've initially added 35 bamboo shrimp are in there. We were going to do 70,
Whoa.
but I decided I wanted to just go ahead and do the 35 right out the gate and then, see how feeding goes and maintaining the water quality before adding more. That's, I think, just realistically the way to go. Seth Farnham is wondering, what food do you prefer for the bamboo shrimp? What do you got?
Oh, food?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, you know what? That was a question that I was going to discuss with you about what type of food should we be feeding our bamboo shrimp. Because I don't think we were giving them like a bamboo shrimp diet when I had them in the tank with the other critters.
Well, I was feeding them shrimp food.
Oh, well, there you go. I would be when we had them in the 155 or the 150 in West Seattle?
Yeah, I was feeding them Shirakura, powdered food type. Bacter AE is a good food type. Shrimp King makes one that's called Adiopsis, which is specifically for Adiopsis muscalensis bamboo shrimp. And there's a German one I have now, which I don't even know the name of, a different German food. But regular fish food actually works out pretty well. You just have to grind it up so that it's in a fine powder.
Oh, see, I think that's why I wasn't giving them a diet when it was just the two of them that we had. And
yeah, when you just had 2, now we got 35, so we got a lot more to feed. But Shirakura makes a powdered shrimp food, which is what do you call it? It's just a powdered type. I think it's for, like, they call it for, like, baby shrimp or whatever. But it's a powdered type shrimp food, so that's the main thing that you're going to be going for. Even if you're doing something like adding fish food. So let's say you got some nice flake fish food that is a mixture of its protein and vegetable, basically. I guess let's say it's the omnivore type flake food. Just going to go ahead and grind that up real fine before you add it into the tank and let it swirl around in there, so it gives them an opportunity. Because the bamboo shrimp have specific stuff that they want to eat, but a variety of food is quite good for them because if you think about it, when they're in nature, they're probably not going to get everything they exactly want all of the time, right? So they're pretty well adapted to just grabbing whatever's going to be landing in the water column, even shrimp poop and stuff like that, waste and things that are floating around. So they're definitely going to pick up a lot of stuff. Mellow Moogle's asking, do you think they'd go crazy for those Sarah Onip tabs? Yeah, you could actually grind up the Sarah Onip tab. And one of the main reasons for that is it actually has a bunch of crustacean in it, basically. It's I forget the type of shrimp that they're putting in there, but like off the top of my head, I don't have the ingredient sheet here, but it does have a lot of shrimp that is ground up in it. Which is actually one of the best foods for shrimp, surprisingly enough. Like, ground up dead shrimp is a great food for pretty much every shrimp out there because it's essentially the building block to make another shrimp. So it has all the calcium in it that shrimp need, minerals and stuff like that.
From other shrimps?
Shrimps from other shrimps. Scrimps.
So I was right. Lobsters, well, they're not technically classified as a bug, but they are phylum, I'm going to butcher this, Arthropoda, phylum Arthropoda, which also includes millipedes, spiders, ticks, but crabs, lobsters, and crayfish are in that classification as well.
Look at you. You're so smart.
Look at me. That also includes butterflies, by the way. So you could say that lobsters are the butterfly of the sea.
The butterfly puppy dreams?
Well, they're probably not as good as butterfly puppy dreams.
We be having some butterfly and puppy dreams. Whoa!
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. I gotta wave Olivia with the technology. You see that? Technology. Whoa!
You're gonna make
that. Somebody was like, are you gonna get a more up-to-date picture of your daughter? And I'm like, there's not a better picture than this one. Whoop. Whoop.
I think there is.
I'm like, yeah, of course.
I
have lots of pictures of our baby.
There's this cute one that you sent me that I'm just super obsessed with. This super cute one right here.
Oh,
this one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I don't know if you guys can see that. It's like the best picture ever.
I says a peanut baby.
Yeah.
Send it to my email and then I can post it up on the chat here.
Oh, okay.
It'll take me a minute,
I
can do it. Leslie's Fish Room says, yeah, that's gross that they eat their own kind. Well, I think if I flat out agreed with that, I think I would be ignoring the fact that almost every creature maybe not almost every creature, but a gigantic percentage of creatures out there eat their own kind. Some of them scavenge for it, so they're not like predatorial. As far as shrimp go, they're essentially looking for the nutrients that are going to build their exoskeleton. So that's almost the main thing that they're looking for when when there's a dead shrimp or something like that. If they're going over to eat it, is they're essentially replacing the exact the exact thing that they were going for. You know what I mean? So they're replacing. Yeah. So sorry, I'm downloading this picture so I can post it up here. But they're replacing the exact thing that they are made of. So that's why they would end up scavenging like that.
Frank.
And source.
Popcorn shrimp?
Popcorn shrimp? Let's see, I gotta figure out where where did I send it to? So I sent it to the local disc.
Oh, Mr. Chips, you're shedding like crazy, bro. Shedding like crazy, bro.
Wait,
oh,
what?
That's my guy.
Nope, I sent it to Drive H is where I sent it. There we go. Audio take. And then I sent it, what's it called?
Can't wait until we get the new office set up.
Oh.
We can have like a screen by the other camera.
That one, what's it called?
Here.
2019. There we go. Yeah, now we got a little picture of Olivia floating around. There we go. There's a more up-to-date little picture. I don't have a title over to say whether it's Olivia or not. If you can't figure out that's our baby, then I don't know what to tell you. If you need, if you need a title on there and be like, that's Olivia, you know what I mean. So, one day, 35 years in the future, he'll still be swishing that baby picture. Probably like this.
Probably. Yeah, I'll make the noise for you.
Welcome to the weird show today.
Teamwork.
We're going to a weird Wednesday. Daryl Deemer. I'm either saying it wrong or right, one way or the other. Daryl Dimer with a $10 super chat. Thanks, buddy. Thank you very much, my brother.
Let's see, a rumbust.
We got a $5 super chat from the Fish Tank Barn for the tip jar. Thanks, brother. Preston John, that's where we got our puffers from. I hope to be flying down to Arizona to try and do like a 2-day
That would be rad.
a 2-day extravaganza, film his fish room fairly soon. I don't know when that would be. We're still trying to figure out our schedule and stuff of like what's going on. So
Mayhem.
It's mayhem. It's a little bit crazy. I'm trying to figure that out.
Babysitters and
it's
vacations and camping and madness. Plus work, because now I work evenings and weekends.
Yeah, we both just kind of work all the time now. It's pretty much just like work all the time. So I don't know when I'll be able to get down there, but it will happen at some point. He's asking, what cleanup crews will we be utilizing?
Cleanup crews?
Yeah, and the bamboo tank.
Well, I love my plecos, but you've got all the bristle nose plecos in your big tank. Should we get something different?
Well, currently in that system that we have right now, the rummy nose tetras are going to be coming out of the 240-gallon and going in with the bamboo shrimp. I've got about 25 of them, something like that, caught out of the giant school that are actually in this aquarium already. And the bamboo shrimp in there. We will definitely probably be growing some snails, because we need to be growing snails in all of our tanks because of said puffers I was talking about just a minute ago. Hungry puffers need lots of snails, and so I'm pretty much growing snails in almost every aquarium now. Ram's horns, some mystery snails, some Malaysian trumpet snails. Believe it or not, I don't have any pond snails right now. It's pretty wild. I don't know how that managed to happen.
We do not have pond snails.
Somehow killed them all off with my eye lasers or something. I'm not 100% sure how that happened.
Probably because we crashed every tank we owned.
That's 2 years ago, babe.
Well, I know, but have we had pond snails since then?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes, we've had pond snails.
Needless to say, I'm a little out of touch with the fish room.
I'm all out of touch.
I go
with the fish room.
I am, because I go out to the fish room, once every 2 weeks?
Maybe. And you're normally just getting files out of the garage.
I am normally just getting files out of the garage.
We got a $5 super chat from Tyler Clink Scales. I have some Corydorus in a 10-gallon with sand. I want to move them into my larger tank, but it has Eco Complete. Do you think that'll be okay? Yeah, I think, the long-standing thing with Corydorus has been that their barbels will get ruined by, a rocky substrate. And realistically, I think that a big part of that has to do with just sort of an urban myth. You know what I mean? It's like an old wives' tale, I think, at this point. Especially from, talking with Dean and Corey and them going down to Peru, they were finding Corydorus in all of the really, I don't know what's the word, coarse. There we go. That's the word. Coarse substrates and stuff, and them really having no problems. They weren't missing barbels or anything like that. So I think a big part of their barbels getting ground down has a lot to do with people not really actively feeding their Corydorus. I think that's the big deal. Sort of where I'm at this point, but I don't. So I would say personally, I wouldn't worry that much about it. Eco Complete isn't like that crazy to I think really harm them. So I wouldn't worry that too much about it. Hobby Habits there, Bree says my Corys did fine on the Eco Complete with no barbel damage. Yeah, I think that's really what it is. I think it's just an old wives' tale, realistically. What it boils down to, as far as that stuff goes. What do you see in the chat, babe, that you want to answer? What do you got there? I thought you had it open. Sorry.
I do have it open.
Oh, you do?
I do have it open.
Oh, okay. She's like emailing people back or something.
I didn't. Reese Warden was asking about Pandagara cleanup crew. Probably not in my tank. I don't know. I'm kind of, the cleanup crew question. So, my favorites are bristlenose plecos. I love bristlenose plecos.
Yeah.
But if we're gonna do something different, have a little variety, I don't know. I mean, ram's horns. I love ram's horns. I don't know. That's something maybe we should explore a little bit. Because they were going to need it with all those rummy nose and the bamboo shrimp.
Mm-hmm.
We're definitely going to need it. Were we discussing Amanos before?
No.
I thought we discussed Amanos, but that does not sound...
I mean, we could, but we'd just be battling the water, to keep the water good for the bamboo shrimp.
Yeah.
The good thing about the rummy nose is that the rummy nose don't really care that much about pH as long as you have some good tannins in there and it's warm enough for them.
Mm-hmm.
So, we don't really have to adapt anything really that much to, keep the rummy nose happy. And, so I think the main focus of like how this tank is going to be set as far as like water quality and all that kind of stuff, obviously the Anubias and everything that's in there, the Anubias is going to stay nice and low light, so that's not a big issue. And then, we don't have to worry too much about the water quality. We can add a little bit of fertilizer here and there for the Anubias to keep it going, but we can keep the lights nice and low, which is fine. When you think about the rummy nose with the bamboo shrimp, they'll be fine. They are from the other, opposite ends of the world, but they do come from pretty... the environments that they come from are pretty close, so they should be fine. And then as far as like, I think the cleanup crew candidates really, we probably would be good to find some kind of, little pleco or something like that. Renee Owen says leopard ottos. The water. I think I'm trying to think off the top of my head. The autosynclus and stuff, they would not do that well in this tank long term, and especially with how many I would have to add. So that's probably going to be an issue. If I do, with how many autosynclus you'd have to add to keep them happy. It's the same kind of deal with, like rummy nose tetras. If you got like 5 of them, they get super confused. They don't know where the rest, they're like, where's everybody else? They get pretty stressed out, and they probably won't last that long. Bamboo shrimp are sort of that way. It's a better idea to get more of them than less. If you could get like, if the option was get 3 or 8, I would definitely go for 8, so that they can hang out in numbers. You can see right here on that log as the camera goes by, they like to hang out in a little group. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So there's 35 in here, and there's little clumps of them in spots that they like. And, so in this little grouping right here, that's probably like 7 of them that are all kind of clustered together, hanging out, and they're doing their little, they're feeding and hanging out and kind of like playing off of each other a little bit. So, and autosynclus are the same as like the rummy nose in the fact that they need to be in like a nice big school to, at least feel like they're in their correct environment and not get overly stressed out. KG says blue phantom plecos are nice. Yeah, like a phantom pleco or something like that. I
was just looking at those.
Yeah, like a pair might be pretty good. Like phantom plecos or whatever. At the same time, those are like pretty expensive realistically. So, some of that stuff just kind of has to wait, as far as that goes. But we're definitely going to... We're definitely 100% going to just kind of let these settle in. I've got some more aquascaping to do on this tank and some more things to settle to show you guys. I probably have to go through a gluing of plants video again, just to help quell some people's questions. As the older videos just drop out of the algorithm; they just end up going away, essentially. So it'd be good to show some people that again and that kind of stuff. So, we'll be working on that kind of stuff. But that's sort of the main focus as time goes on here.
I want to get more corals for the saltwater tank.
And Vicky wants to get more corals. So, unsure. Like maybe I can find a local breeder that's selling some, some fancy plecos for a reasonable price, because we have the super red bristlenose, and they're breeding like crazy. I just saw like a whole bunch of little baby ones that I hadn't seen before earlier today when the lights came on. It's like, oh, what are all these little busters doing down here?
New ones, not like the ones that we saw the other day.
There's been like at least 3 spawns of the bristlenose in that tank. And this, I would say, is from like the 3rd group, because they're like, some are like this big, and I'm literally holding up my fingers. So what is that? 1.5 inches or something? I don't know. 1.5 inches. Then there's some that are inch, and these ones are like a 1/2 inch. So
smaller than the ones you were looking at yesterday.
Yeah. So they're coming along, and I gave a bunch to Alyssa. So they're coming along. Those are breeding fine and everything, and I don't see any reason for us to like add them specifically to another tank. Whereas the snails, the snails are good to add to another tank. It's like I literally take ram's horn snails out of some tanks and just throw them into one that's like, well, there's never many going in there. Let's add some more snails and they'll lay eggs, just because feeding the puffers, they're constantly being eaten. Whereas the bristlenose aren't being eaten by anything, so they're just breeding slowly but surely, and I'm not really doing anything to promote that. They're just still breeding, so they're doing well. What do you got?
I'm just looking at the chat, but I'm not necessarily seeing too much to Freshwater, Aquascape, and seawater, which one more easy to maintain? From Steve Guppy Farm.
Freshwater, aquascape, and seawater.
Which is...
Oh, so like a reef tank versus a freshwater tank? Is that kind of what he's asking? I think
that's what he's asking, yeah.
What do you think?
It depends. I mean, it seems like, well, so it depends on the size and the livestock and the, you know, with the freshwater, is it live planted? So it depends, I think, on your setup, which one's easier to maintain. It seems like with our 60-gallon, it's smaller water changes. We don't have to water change as much because we've got the filter or the pooper scooper.
The skimmer?
The skimmer. The auto pooper scooper. On there, and that seems pretty low maintenance, but we're not putting a bunch of stuff in it right now anyways. We don't have much in there.
I mean, I've been doing water changes on it. I'm behind on a water change on the reef, but yeah, I mean, like Vicky was saying, I can expand on that a little bit, is that it really depends on the setup, you know. I mean, there's some setups that you can do that need tons of maintenance and need constant attention, and you need to constantly get your hands in there and mess around with them. And that goes to both fresh and saltwater, you know. Mm-hmm. One that I would say is the most maintenance would be like a brackish water tank. And the main reason for that is that evaporation typically can completely throw a brackish water tank out of whack, you know, big time. You know, you add a little bit of water in, salinity is going to drop like a rock, or evaporation is going to send the salinity way up. So, you know, certain things that need to be at like their specific gravity needs to be at like, you know, 1.008, you know, or sorry, 1.0008. All of a sudden can be up at 0.0017, you know, and it's like, they could be having a big problem. But typically freshwater, you know, you're just kind of dealing with the possibility of ammonia, nitrate, you know, with, you know, it's not going to really cause that big of a problem, especially if you have like a real planted tank. That could cause a problem. So I guess I would say most problematic maintenance-wise, brackish. Second, I would put reef tanks probably, because you know things can get out of hand in a saltwater tank if you're not paying attention to it. You know, and you know, often your fish won't really have a problem, like hermit crabs and snails and all that kind of stuff will be fine. They really won't have a problem. But your corals are going to die off, and oftentimes, you know, that's where a lot of your money is in the corals. You know, you could spend a couple $100s on fish, but you could easily spend like thousands of dollars on corals. So, you know, that definitely is something to take into consideration as far as that goes. Whereas I'd put like a freshwater tank at the bottom. The main reason for that is if anything really goes out of whack, if something crazy goes on, like if you have a lot of plants in there and stuff, plants are going to start to pick up the slack where where you may have, like, you know, missed a water change, or maybe the filter's like clogged up with something or whatever. You know, you have a filter in there that is beneficial to, you know, having not had as much maintenance. I think would probably be the way to go.
It's a filter system, livestock.
Jeremiah Boss is asking, would it be bad for a pea puffer and a 5-gallon to run an air stone for only 2 or 3 hours? I want to get rid of surface film, but the tank is so close to my head that the air stone would keep me awake. Yeah, I mean, you could do that, as long as it's not the only filtration you have on there. You could always look for a freshwater skimmer. I've never been a big fan of them, personally, because they never really work all that fantastically, but you know, you could look into that. But yeah, if it's not the only filtration you have, yeah, just set it on a timer and have it go off in the middle of the day for a couple hours. It shouldn't be that big of a deal. Little extra oxygen and agitation's fine. It's fine for fish. Big Pedro says River Rock is smooth. I got Corys in Eco Complete, and their barbels are shorter than the Corys I got on sand. Well, it could be. Yeah, it could be. But, you know, like the Corridors that were in Peru, you know, I talked to Dean about that quite a bit. You know, most of the substrate in the rivers down there and streams and everything in Peru is laterite, and laterite is like sandpaper, you know. I thought you were going to say something. You took a big breath in, and then you didn't say anything.
We have a family with a new baby watching our live stream.
What do you got?
All Right Exotics watching live from the hospital with the wife and the new baby.
Oh, there we go.
We had a family inception right now. We've got our little family and our baby on the live stream, and they're watching live from the hospital. That's
Nice.
pretty rad.
Nice.
Congratulations on the new baby, boy or girl.
I don't know. That I don't know. Sakana Katana is asking, how many snails do you feed your puffers, and how often do you feed them? How often do you feed them, babe?
Is the answer that you're trying to get me to say is that I don't feed them? Corvus does all the work in the fish room.
Just do whatever, you know. It's all good.
I've been less involved in the fish room.
I feed the puffers whenever I collect snails, which is if I'm in there, I'll probably collect some out of the sump pretty quickly. I've just use a little shrimp net and catch a bunch of them and then throw them in there. But I do have them in. I do have them in the 240 gallon aquarium. So there's a lot of snails and stuff replicating in there, along with the shrimp and all that kind of stuff. So they're eating pretty quickly. Just whenever they feel like feeding. They're always cruising around. I check in on them, and they pretty much always have a nice little round belly. They probably aren't growing super fast compared to, like, Preston's, because Preston feeds his a lot. So his are probably growing faster than mine, but they always have a nice little round belly, and they're always just kind of cruising around, looking for stuff, and they'll eat things whenever they find them. So I'm not, like, aggressively feeding them, if that's
so you feed them maybe once a day?
the reason. Yeah, I mean, I throw the snails in there, and they eat them whenever they find them.
Oh.
I'm not, like, directly feeding them into their mouths,
Eat the snail.
Let's see. Oh, somebody had asked something. Benny Travels asking, what's your typical cycle time for planted tanks? As you guys know, I typically do I do a rapid cycle, which, if you were to go back 4 or 5 years ago, there were a lot of people that were like, oh man, that doesn't work, and then once we get, once you get some of the science on your side, it's a little bit easier to represent that. And enough people, myself included, have tested it many, many times, and it does work pretty much in a 24 to 48 hour period to cycle a tank. I mean, 48 hours, it's like, yeah, the bacteria's in there, it's growing, it's doing whatever. But what I do is I take biomedia from an established cycled tank, and I add that in, give it a food source, which, you could do ammonia if you want, but it's much easier just to add some fish food that's going to break down and create a little bit of ammonia. It feeds the bacteria. The bacteria wants to inhabit the new areas where it's at. Then bacteria will start replicating pretty rapidly and start denitrifying your system. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, hopefully. So it really doesn't take that long. Yeah. Doesn't take long at all.
Word.
We're in the 21st century, you guys. We got a Swedish Krones 1758 super chat from my boy Rombust.
Rombust.
Yeah. That guy throws it down for however many days I've been sober.
Nice.
That's what that is.
That's awesome.
He keeps track, which is crazy.
Super cool.
Awesome. Thank you, brother. Very much appreciate it. The Fish Barn was asking me earlier if I do the vodka method in my reef tank. And
What?
for numerous reasons, I don't. And one of the big reasons is I don't find it to be a big benefit for what a lot of people have the proposed benefits. I haven't
What is
personally
the
seen it
vodka
all that well. And on top of the fact, I am a sober guy, teetotaler, so I don't really go buy vodka and add it to my aquariums and have bottles of vodka lying around in my fish room. Probably not a great idea. You know what I mean?
Word.
So there's multiple reasons why I don't do that one.
Somebody mentioned reticulated hillstream loaches
Oh, yeah.
as a possibility for a cleanup team. in
They
the
would
tank.
do well. They would do well to kind of move around on the glass and do some stuff like that. But I mean, the hillstream loaches are a really cool fish, and I definitely like them being around. They like that fast-moving water, but I think they would spend more time cleaning the glass than anything else. Whereas this tank is going to be, as far as any kind of cleanup goes, we're going to need something that's going to clean the substrate. So Malaysian trumpet snails are going to come in pretty handy for that. And then we have to take into account something that's going to hang out down low and kind of cruise around and sort of maybe sift through the stuff that's landing onto the substrate. That's probably going to be our best bet, something like that.
Oh, I was thinking that actually sounded kind of cool because when I looked it up, so what came up was the tiger hillstream loach. Same thing, right? They're on conservation status.
Well, yeah, stuff that's on conservation status we might not be able to get.
Oh, I was thinking if it's a possibility, breeding would be cool. Are those hard to breed?
I don't know. I've never bred them. It's possible.
Interesting. I don't know. I don't know. I like animals. I'm like, save the loaches.
Save the loaches.
Save the loaches.
Yeah, they're a cool fish. What they'll be doing mostly is clinging to the glass and kind of cruising around and eating stuff off the glass, which I don't ever add anything to the tank as a concern of whether or not it's going to get anything off of the glass, personally. Because this guy right here, me, I can do it a million times faster than any little tiny critter with a tiny little mouth can. You know what I mean? I can clean the algae off the glass in, 8 minutes. Which,
Fair enough.
some little loaches, it might take them 2 months to clean it. And then by then it'd be dirty again, right? Let's see. We haven't got any new members today, but we did get a new member the other day, and where did it go? Oh, it disappeared. Shout out to the new member it disappeared. I had it, and it seems to have gone away. What do you got, babe?
What do I have?
Yeah. What you got?
What do you have? What do you say?
What you
know?
got? What do you say? What do you know?
So Moogs says, question for Vicky. What's a project you're interested in doing with spring coming up? Any fun garden plans?
Ooh.
Super awesome that you asked that, actually, because I took the day yesterday. I actually went out to help my mom with something all the way out in Hoquiam. But my afternoon, I was actually thinking about what am I planning for the garden this coming year? And what would I like to do out there when I have time? So I do have some stuff some projects that came to mind. I just recently got a new nesting boxes for the chicken coop because I changed away from the wooden boxes. I was actually considering maybe doing a video about our coop and why I designed it the way I did and chose the items that I did for the chicken coop. I was thinking about doing a video on that because it's kind of been trial and error. We've been through 3 chicken coops since we've had our chickens. The little red hen hut that we built in West Seattle. Oh. That we didn't take with us because it was sturdy. It was very sturdy. We gave it away. That was actually I loved that little red hen hut. And then we had the one that they moved into here that was here when we got here, which was designed for the chickens that they had. I think they had a Banty and something else. But we moved ours into there, which turned out to be a little smaller once we inherited an additional 4 hens. 5 hens.
More chickens.
Yes. But it's been kind of trial and error, so I was considering doing a video about that. I got new nesting boxes because I went away from the wood ones because we had the lice and mite infestation in our chicken inhabitants, which, so word to the wise, don't feed the wild birds in the same area where you keep your poultry because they can get infestations from wild birds. Birds are birds.
Now I feel like I have lice and mites.
So luckily we haven't
gross.
had any issues with that, but I shied away from doing the wood ones. We did some plastic makeshift bins for a little while, which haven't turned out too hot because the chickens are defecating over them as they roost on the outside of the nesting boxes.
Yeah.
It's just basically a giant litter box now. It's terrible. So I got some new ones that are like the Taj Mahal of nesting boxes. And I'd like to redo some of their roosting poles because
it's like the Taj Mahal.
Yes. Well, we've got
It's like the Taj Mahal.
got a pretty fancy chicken coop at this point with these new nesting boxes and stuff.
You're not wrong.
But I've got to figure out putting another roosting pole in there because we've got 1 or 2 hens that are roosting on the nesting boxes because they don't have a spot in the pecking order. Low man sits on the floor is what happens. But
yeah.
So I have some ideas around that, and another thing that I want to try as far as like catching chicken manure under their roosting spots. So I'm considering using a technique that I've seen used in coops before, which is using cloth to catch the droppings, and then they dry out in the cloth, and you just pull the cloth out and dump it in a bucket.
Or we're just going to build a giant aquaponics system that the chickens poop right into.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have tons of tilapia eating chicken poop.
As long as we can get the pond/aquaponics, what is it? Aquaponics?
Aquaponics.
Well, no, I know, but we have a pond that you want to incorporate in the
Aquaponics.
in the aquaponics.
Yeah.
So the fish room waste goes to the pond, goes to the greenhouse. Yeah. We need to recycle as much water as possible this year with our garden. So even if we don't have the pond put in, I think we need to be catching our water waste from the fish tanks to redeploy those IBC containers.
Yeah, why are you getting super quiet?
I don't know. Anyway.
People out there are like, I can't hear with my brain.
Sorry. And then, yeah, I'm garden planning right now. We've got our crop rotation. And for our zone, it's time to plant onions and cabbage and the like, which goes in
The bunions.
So
Bunions and cabbages.
getting ready to set some stuff from seed
Asparagus.
for the garden. So we've got peas, cabbage, and onions that we're going to start right now. And then we've got to get new raspberry. We're putting in more raspberry bushes in the garden. And
more raspberry bushes. And what else? I'm gonna make Olivia all tiny and put her right over here.
We're gonna get new strawberries this year, and we're gonna do the tiered, or the my brain's not working today.
The ladder box
of strawberries.
Of strawberries, yeah.
Yeah. So on one side we'll have the strawberries, the other side we'll have the raspberries. So I might move the lemongrass.
Well, all we did was trim the raspberries, right? So they're going to come back in the same spot.
Yeah, I want to add some more bushes. Like I want that whole back row to be raspberries.
Yeah, I want more raspberries.
So I might move the lemongrass.
I don't know if you guys know, I like eating raspberries.
So I'm going to move the lemongrass. I might actually put that in a container. Put it in one of our pots because that's
Well, it is locked in that corner, so.
Yeah, but I want raspberries there. as a permanent fixture.
Permanent fixture raspberries. Mm-hmm. I say keep the raspberries away from the fence because those weird tree rats are going to come back.
That's why I wanted to put a solar electric fence along the top there.
And shock the monkey.
Yep.
Shock the monkey.
Because we've got peas to put in and green beans, and I don't want them climbing in our climbing
don't you
stuff.
know you got to shock the monkey rats.
Whoa. Whoa, bro. And we're taking the cherry tree out.
Yeah, the cherry tree
there goes
is coming
their
down.
Food source.
Very excited. This weekend, the cherry tree is coming down. We've got a professional arborist coming. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to trade him a brisket.
No, I'm going to pay him.
And Vicky's going to pay. You're paying?
Yeah.
It's $100 million, you guys.
I don't know how much.
So don't forget to become
we'll find out.
A member on the stream. Right? It's going to cost a lot. No, just kidding on that. But on a lighter note, I do recall that brings it up because you're like, no, I'm going to pay him, the tree guy. Somebody had mentioned on Monday we had a YouTube commenter who was being super rude, and so I had Bentley read the comment. Mm-hmm. And one of the portions of the comments was that somebody was upset that Vicky would want a real man and a real partner to help take care of the family, and that I should get an air quote real job so that I don't have to be supported by you anymore, which I found to be kind of funny. And since it's Wednesday and we have a bunch of we have 148 people watching right now, I figure we might as well just let the cat out of the bag that Vicky and I split our bills right down the middle, whether it's rent or mortgage or electric or water or all that kind of stuff.
You mean we're equal parts?
Yeah, we's equal parts, yo.
What?
Vicky has done some phenomenally cool stuff when it has come down to giving presents and stuff like that. She did buy us one of the cameras that I was able to shoot with, and other numerous things.
Fun Oso.
When it comes down to
Christmas.
The Osmo Pocket.
Oh,
yes,
Osmo.
We have the little Osmo Pocket that I've been working out the kinks on, trying to figure out exactly how to utilize it. It's like a little tiny gimbal camera, and that was like my Christmas present, which is awesome. There's nothing wrong with that. But yes, Vicky and I, we go 50-50 on everything, and as far as I know, I've never missed a bill, right?
Yeah. To
the extent of my knowledge, and just as a quick reminder to people, I was out yesterday in the cold. It's freezing out yesterday, and I felt like I was going to die out in the cold. I go out and work shifts so that I'm able to come on here and talk about fish and stuff like that. So, just mad props to all the people that have showed up to support today and stuff like that. But with Vicky here, I'd be like, hey, have I not paid my bills?
Well, I think you've talked about it before. I think people still have the misconception that somehow if you are a creator on YouTube, it must just be like, you just must be on permanent vacation. You're just doing fun stuff. I can honestly say from the one video that I have on my channel, that's hard work. Like, I had you helping me put that video together because I got to a point where I was like, oh my God, the parts aren't coming together and it looks weird and doesn't make sense and I don't know what I'm doing. And you really have to know what you're doing to edit and put together a video, because my little video the one video I have on my channel was like, so we did 1 day of filming. Mm-hmm. And we pretty much filmed everything to get enough content.
Right.
And then we did 1 whole day of editing. And by the time, it was like late when I was like, oh my God, I'm tired and frustrated and I don't know what I'm doing. And I can't, that video is not, it's not like YouTube gold for sure.
It's a gem.
It's just, it was what it was I don't know. is what came out of the idea that I had and the help I got. And it was difficult. It's not. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that being a YouTube creator is not, I mean, it's not a fun, I just am on vacation all the time creating all this content kind of thing.
Right. I think that's kind of the weird perception is like, because people are like, they're smiling, right? It's like, hey guys, how you doing? You know, because it's better than like, hey, how are you doing, people? You know what I mean? Like, people have
your videos look great, so
like,
it
happy,
must be
you know.
super easy.
Yeah, it's just like, it's just kind of a super easy thing. It's just super duper easy. And then they get it for free though also.
Well, yeah.
So it's like you just open up your phone and it's like, oh, I'm watching a thing, you know.
Well,
so
see? When you get stuff for free, I think some people think there's no value to something.
There's no value.
There's no value
to
to something that you get for free.
Yeah, which is interesting.
Interesting.
Yep. And
I could tell stories about the progression of your channel and your content and your equipment and, you know, from the time that we've been together, which is a short amount of time compared to how long you've had your channel.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that was another concern that I thought was kind of funny, is that somebody had brought up that like the only reason I'm doing well is because of my association with the Aquarium Co-op, which, as you guys know, like Corey is doing fantastically well. Like Corey is doing awesome.
Yeah.
His channel is growing. His business is growing.
Yeah.
And Corey's my friend. You know what I mean? But I will remind people. I guess it feels kind of selfish if I remind people of this, but like, I went to meet Corey before he had his store built during the store build, because one of the guys I worked with he considered Corey to be a competitor for whatever reason. I don't know. I didn't think that Corey was a competitor because I worked at a saltwater store and Corey was opening only a freshwater store. So I don't understand it, but we went down to meet him while he was doing his build out and stuff. And Corey at the time had asked me a bunch about he was going to start a YouTube channel. And this is, I don't know, 6 years ago, something like that or whatever. And it's like, because at the time, you know, people looked at my channel and they were like, oh, wow, man, for fish, you're doing pretty awesome, you know, because I had like, I don't know, 5,000 subs or something like that. But I just remind people that like, this is video 949, you know, so I've definitely been doing this for a long time. And like when I met Corey a long time ago, you know, he didn't even have a YouTube channel, and I'd already like put up a ton of YouTube videos or whatever. So it was kind of interesting. Like, you know, I've been doing this for a way long. It feels like a way long time. And as like Full Moon Aquatic says, people are so judgmental. I hope the negative does not push you away from the hobby. It won't push me away from the hobby, but I do address it sometimes. And I wanted to mention in today's show, I'm going to try to do a better job on my written responses for people that like, you know, have a question in the comments and stuff like that. I'm going to try to spend a little more time on that stuff, because it does come up in the show where like, I'm not going to address, you know, negative comments or something like that in the comments. Like, it's just, I'm not going to start that, you know what I mean? But I do bring it up from time to time just to kind of express my feeling about it. And I think me expressing my feeling from time to time is what allows me to like not get super discouraged about it, because it is kind of weird to like have it rattling around in your head and not just like, I gotta let this out. It's gonna fester in here and be some kind of weird emotion later, and then I'm gonna be letting out broccoli farts or something, and you know what I mean, and be all cranky later for no reason, you know what I mean. So that's kind of why I do bring it up on the show from time to time. So it's you know, it's kind of one of those things. Like I feel like it's a better way to express it on here, where I'm not like trying to type something out and be all mad or that kind of thing, you know what I mean. So I just do try to express it on here and bring up the fact that you know, 285 people on Patreon and 55 people on the memberships on here are definitely outshine at any moment in time. You know, when people have bring some negativity towards me, right? I'm like, That's over 300 people that are like willing to be like, we want to keep this thing going. We want to keep this thing going. We want to get it growing. We want to keep it rolling and do the next thing and do the next thing. And, you know, there will come a time when that crying baby out there where we'll be able to take her and maybe go meet up with Heiko Blair and his wife and his daughter, out on a trip to go collecting or something like that.
We got to have Tazawa and his wife up here.
Zenzo and his wife will probably be coming up sometime. Hopefully in the summertime. It's a little snowy out right now to have Zenzo come up.
We don't want them here.
He's a warm weather. He's a warm weather guy, and I was talking with him the other day, and he's I forget where he went. I think he went to Denver or something, and it's just like,
nope.
This is ridiculous.
That's a whole lot of nope.
Yep. It does get cold out, and he's he's half Polynesian, man. Like he's from the warm climate, you know. So we'll try to have him come up in the summertime when it's not.
And we got to pick.
But I think he might be coming up for the AGA, so I think that's like May, early May. So.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Are we gonna host him here?
Or is anybody gonna stay here?
Yeah, we got a guest room.
Yes, we have a. I don't know.
We have a guest room and we have the meditation room, which has we can set up a blow up and stuff there. We can host some people.
Possible. You're signing us up to have people stay at our house. They're going to reference back to this video. And then we're going to have all these like homeless YouTubers hanging out at our house.
Clean house, and I don't know why that. I don't know. Are you embarrassed of our house?
No, I just don't want extra. I'll try to take a shower.
Oh, yeah. So be forewarned, we only have one bathroom.
Plus,
4 bedrooms.
Let me put it this
bathroom.
way. Zenzo and his wife can stay here at any point in time. Totally, 100%. I'm just making a joke about having a bunch of YouTubers at our house.
Well, they're going to be here doing fish room tours anyway, so I don't know why.
You don't have to go to a side to the microphone, babe. Let me come over here and talk to you.
Because he's over there. I'm going to come over here and talk to you guys.
You still have to talk into the microphone.
Okay. He's picking on me now.
I'm just trying to... No. But May 2nd through the 5th is the Aquatic Gardeners Association, which I'll be at. Corey will be at. Hopefully Vicky will be there for some of it. I'm not sure how that's going to work out, but
with Olio.
I will be there for the whole thing. So
wait, you got to put that on the calendar because I don't even know.
I thought it was on the calendar. I don't know. Yeah.
What is it? October? Nope, May.
May 2nd through the 5th.
October
2019.
2nd through the 5th.
Yep, we've talked about it lots of times. It's right up the street from here, so I don't have to travel. I don't have to get on a plane.
Aquatic. What is it? Aquatic.
Oh, see now, Preston John's coming to stay. He's coming to take the room. Vicky said so.
Gardeners Association. The AGA.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Now the fish tank barn's going to be here. Preston's going to be here.
Oh
man! Swift Aquarium says Aquapros is going to be here. See what's happening?
2nd through
You've created a domino effect of cascading madness. May 2nd through the 5th.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to put it on.
2 through the 5.
2 through the 5.
Toured.
So we're gonna have to get a babysitter on the 4th because that's when the brunch that I coordinated is there.
Yeah, we will.
Is that day?
Where's Grandma? Grandma! It's Nature Man says, you have a blow-up mattress? See you tomorrow. Great. Now we got all sorts of people coming over.
Blow-up mattress.
Actually, our guest room has the mammary foam mattress.
Mammary foam?
Is that how did you say that? Mammary foam, right? It's like sleeping on boobies. Okay. Well, Vicky has got to get back. My little notification has popped up. Vicky has to get back to her email madness or whatever. Yes. We give a big shout out. I don't know what we did today. We were going to try to talk about bamboo shrimp, and maybe we did. Maybe we didn't. I don't know.
Garden videos to come. Huh?
Garden videos are coming, so we'll stay tuned for that. I definitely wanted to let you guys know that the garden videos aren't going away. The garden videos are here to stay. But it is wintertime, so there just isn't much to do, and it's snowing today.
Well, yeah, it's snowing today, but we got
ridiculous.
We'll have seeds in the ground, and then we'll hopefully do a coop tour, a chicken coop tour. Once I do the upgrades.
Get a double dose.
Chicken coop tour. I gotta finish hooking up the watering system from the chicken coop.
Okay. Yeah.
The watering system from the gutter to their water thing. Gotta finish that. And yeah, we got some garden planning. We got irrigation watering system to work out for the garden.
Yeah.
So, I gotta go.
You gotta go?
I'm getting a phone call about my car.
Getting a phone call about your car, which is ridiculous. Oh, ridiculous. All right, guys. Well, we're coming up on the end of the show. I definitely want to say thanks to Daryl Dimer, Nebraska SXHC, the Fish Tank Barn, Tyler Klingscale, and Rumbust for your generous super chats today. Thank you very much, you guys. 100% appreciate that, and we don't have to worry about demonetization, you guys, because even just a couple of $5 and a $10 super chat will blow it, whatever YouTube was going to pay us anyhow. So forget about it, right? It's a fugazi. Let's see. B.O. Day says, can't do memberships where I am. I got you on Patreon, though. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it 100%. Saying, hold on. Says, folks can be pretty toxic online. I had a channel for a different hobby. Did it for about 2 years. Got to 8,500 subs. Caved to the toxicity eventually. Let it get to me and quit. Just do your thing. Yeah, man, that's the deal. Like, that's one of the reasons that I bring it up, is just to go like, some of that stuff could be banging around in my head, and it could make me a little bit crazy from time to time. And that's why I like to come on here and just kind of like let it out sometimes, just as a part of the show. And maybe some people don't understand what the show is all about. It's a live stream format. You think about maybe it's a maybe it's a drive time thing, whatever you want to call it. We try to get through, and I try to hit topics as much as I can. And I know there's a lot of people that tune in and they get upset because they're like, I want you to answer the question that I have immediately off the top of my head at 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 months after you uploaded a video. You know what I mean? They're like, I clicked on it and I watched for 5 minutes and you didn't answer the thing I was thinking about, and that's typically how it works out. There's just people want a question immediately answered, and I'm like, you could just Google and read the articles about it, And I don't try to be a jerk about that kind of stuff or anything, but I do recommend that. One thing I want to say coming up on the end of the show, let's say you want to come meet me in person and you can't wait till the AGA and you can't wait till any other convention or whatever that I'm going to be at. Not this weekend, but the following weekend, there's a shrimp meetup at the Willamette, I'm probably saying it wrong, Willamette Valley Aquatic Society down in Oregon. Salem, Oregon is the town. So that'll be Saturday, the, hold on, 16th. Saturday, the 16th of March, I will be there for the shrimp meetup, which is around noon to 3, I think. And then there's an evening meeting on that same day. So maybe you can't make one. Maybe you could make the other. And I'll be at that. And then I think in between, I'm going to try and go to some of the stores down there and whatnot. And there's a good possibility that Mike from Aqua Pros will be coming with me, but I'm unsure on that. I have to call him and double check. You know what I mean? But I'll be making the drive down there because we missed it last time. It was snowing so badly I couldn't make the drive. I couldn't leave the family here all, blizzarded in. Is blizzarded, right? That's not a word. But, yeah. So maybe that's the thing that you want to go to. Oh, it's in Eugene. Sorry, it's not in Salem. It's in Eugene, Oregon. Sorry about that, guys. I do get them confused in my head because I don't live at either one of them. I live in Washington, which nobody calls it Washington. Just weirdos call it that. It's Washington. But I hope everybody has a fantastic Wednesday out there. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, or complaints, I don't know, become a member. Join up. Maybe go to Patreon and throw down $1 a month and then you can post on there, and we can address your questions, concerns, comments, or complaints. On the Friday show coming up this Friday, as you guys know, in the Friday show, I normally feature the Patreon questions, or maybe just victories or pictures or photos or whatever you guys want to post up on the community portion of the Patreon page. If that's confusing to you, it's www.patreon.com/Joel, JOEL_C. That's me. Ha! You'll be able to find it pretty easy if you go do that. Or just click one of the links all over the place and that kind of stuff and junk and blah, 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 blah. Mellow Moogle posted interested in purchasing supplies from the Aquarium Co-op and showing your support for Joel. Use that link in the chat or in the pinned comment or any of that kind of stuff. We have the Aquarium Co-op is our affiliate sponsor. And what does that mean to you? That means that you can go over there and buy stuff at a regular old price, and it basically just kicks back a little bit of advertising fee, whatever you want to call it, back to us, and it helps us buy new equipment, upgrade certain things, get another camera, blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff that needs going on. And the reason for that is the Aquarium Co-op is dope. It's the spot. That's the products I use, like Easy Green, Easy Iron. And speaking of Easy Green, that's the fertilizer I use in my planted aquariums. It has come down in price. It's not on sale. It has come down in price. From I think $19.99 down to $14.99. I think it's $15 a bottle now, which is instead of 20, it's 15 because Corey crunched the numbers, ordered a ton. He and I drove all the way down to get it. It's like an 8-hour drive and back to load up the whole entire U-Haul. Full, it's like a U-Haul. He's like a big U-Haul truck kind of thing. And filled that whole thing up with Easy Green, brought it back to drop the price down even further for you guys. So 100% recommend that. Also, he's got all the plants and equipment and stuff that you guys need if you have a planted aquarium. If you have a reef aquarium or something like that, you're going to have to stop somewhere else, and I don't even know where for you to go at this point. Looks like Amazon seems to be the best for reef equipment and things like that. So Anyhoozle, I want to talk to you all later, and that will happen on Friday. So I will see you all later. Have a fantastic middle of the week. And that's the end of the show.